the purchase by Iris of iSAMS adds to their portfolio. So they've got quite a large portfolio now of educational products.
Yeah.
Again, they've got some people that used to be at Capita, used to be at SIMS. They know the market very well, very smart people.
Yep.
I mean, why iSAMS chose to sell, I don't know. I don't know if they're staying on or not, or whether they've just banked and run. But Iris would not have bought that company if it couldn't see a growth potential. But the customers, which are largely independent, I suspect they'll be quite nervous and they'll want a lot of reassurance, because iSAMS, even though it had a tiny footprint in the state sector, it has marketed itself as an independent solution. So the question is, where does Iris think the growth will come from? And probably number one would be in the independent sector. It could potentially sell its finance products.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think with this sort of backing of someone like Iris, they could do much more overseas. I'd be surprised to see them tackling the state sector in the UK, but I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised to see them tackling China or something of that sort, where the number of schools is just unbelievable. What I don't know is whether iSAMS has been written in such a way that it could support the Chinese alphabet easily.
Yeah, but I'm not sure about the international. I think they will continue to expand internationally. I think you're right there. They definitely will enter into the state sector. That is a definite.
They've been trying for 7 or 8 years and have got about 10 schools. So it will take, I exaggerate to make the point, but it will take a great deal of thinking, and I think it could be very, very expensive to do it.
Yeah, I think there's some development to be done for sure. But the footprint, again, going back to your point around Juniper, their finance system is in 70% of all academies. So they do have a reach or an entry into the marketplace. I think and they could be really disruptive, because Pierce Financials, I should imagine, based on the price, they make quite a good amount of money from Pierce Financials. Yeah. So that you could easily see them basically maybe dropping the price of an MIS even further, going back to your commodity point.
iSAMS is traditionally been a high-priced product, and you can't just drop the price in the state sector and keep it high in the independent sector. We had a similar problem in SIMS when we took over Dolphin. So Dolphin's pricing was much, much higher than SIMS. And in the end, we actually had to lower the Dolphin pricing to the same as SIMS as we began to swap SIMS into those independent schools. So I think that's quite a challenge, because I think at the moment the academies are buying a lot on price. Not entirely. I mean, the interesting thing with, I've forgotten the academy name now, but the one that was going through the legal manoeuvres, that didn't buy on price. Yeah, that they clearly didn't buy on price. But a lot of academies do. So I can't see iSAMS being terribly competitive in that world.
Yeah, I think it's definitely,
as you say, they know what they're doing. They've got a large market share and they've got some very bright people.
Yeah, I can imagine.
iSAMS got that Arbor hasn't got, or SIMS hasn't got, and the answer is it's actually got things missing. So it doesn't have a timetabling solution, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Its reporting requires somebody with a degree in how to produce reports. So there's a lot of work to be done to get iSAMS into state sector, and I think there's a real risk of causing consternation in your existing market base.
Yeah, no, and actually just another person in that sort of academy space, because ultimately most of the challenger MISs are playing really predominantly in the academy space. Will basically, it will thin out how many players there are. And going back to your point of not many of them can survive on on the numbers they've got at the moment. They need to grow. Where do they grow to? If there's more challengers coming in and taking their share as well. So it's going to be a really interesting market, I think, over the course of the next 3 years. Yeah, but you're right. Everyone needs to get it right.